Finally, a Batmobile small enough to park on your shelf and big enough to fuel your nostalgia. This week we're taking a look at the Amazon exclusive McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Gold Label Batman '89 Batmobile. As an honorary son of Gotham City, Bruce Wayne lounges around his mansion waiting for the bat signal like it's a dinner bell. By day, Gotham's billionaire playboy. By night, well, still Gotham's billionaire playboy, just with more leather.
How much do you weigh?
To the people, he's a myth. To the criminals, a nightmare. A 6-foot bat in rubber armor who solves crimes with a rocket car.
Your car's on fire.
Car's on fire.
No, it's just a little oil.
Accessories! Does this purse go with my bra, brah?
Batmobile Batman comes with a set of fists for punching criminals and steering wheels.
Shit.
And in case you wanted to pose Batman looking cool leaning on the car, there's a stand packed in that pegs into the holes at the bottom of his bat boots. And that's it. Start and end of Batman's accessories. Unless you count the Batmobile as an accessory, which I do. The matte finish may not be accurate to the source material, but I do prefer it. You wouldn't want to get in or out in heels, but it is less reflective than the glossy finish of the previous Batmobile, especially when you're using a few different light sources.
What'll it be? Matte finish or glossy?
Matt.
The canopy manually opens by pressing the button on the hood and sliding it forward. The button is discreet as it is molded into the seam running down the hood. There's about as much glare on the window as you'd expect, and is clear enough to see inside.
Gotta take this, it's my wife. Are you here?
The bat symbol on the rims are painted silver, as well as the mechanical parts on the side of the car and the multiple exhaust on the back. The lights are not functioning, but the bright red makes it stand out from the matte paint job. The bat wings are loose in the box and attached by squeezing the tabs on the side as you push in. The front has muted yellow lights, which again doesn't have a light up feature, along with a plane-like turbine molded in a gunmetal gray.
April 23rd, 57, Cape Cod in a jet turbine.
The tires are a rubber material and freely spin, or spin freely. Taking a look under the undercarriage, nothing is painted, but they still add the details for anyone looking to customize. Inside the cockpit, the seat sits real low and can only house one figure at this scale. The dashboard is full of gauges and buttons painted silver. Protruding from the dashboard is the steering wheel. And while it doesn't turn, nor does it turn the wheels, you don't really need it to. There's plenty of other sculpted details throughout the car, but it is missing a gas cap. Ramen Toys used to sell an accessory pack that included machine gun attachments on the hood and a gas cap on the side. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find it anywhere.
When are we ever gonna catch a break?
But how do other toy lines fit in the Batmobile? Well, McFarlane Toys' Dark Knight Batman sits naturally, as well as NECA's Back to the Future Marty McFly. 112 figures like Marvel Legends Tracksuit Mafia sit low in the lowrider, but all fit with the canopy closed no problem. Question of the week. What popular recording artist wrote and produced the Batman '89 soundtrack? Was it A. Seal, B. Prince, C. Elton John, or D. Michael Jackson?
Articulation, brah. Alright, giving us more range than the actual bat suit would. You can look down, up, there is some left to right, and a good amount of tilt. Crunching forward is about what you would think for a guy in a rubber suit. Back a bullet dodging amount. There's a swivel at the waist, as well as the ab crunch. Both ball joints together give you a good amount of tilt left and right. Arms rotate all the way around without getting in the way of that cape. There's a bicep swivel, and a butterfly joint that doesn't get a lot of crossbody, and not a lot back either, but it is there. There's also a double jointed pinned elbow, and arms ball and hinge, but is already loose. The ball peg rotates at the wrist and at the hand, so depending on how you rotate that peg is dependent on what direction you're able to hinge. The legs kick up a good amount, although that knee does tend to hyperextend. Out a good amount. There's a upper thigh swivel, but doesn't occur when the leg is down. There's a double jointed pinned knee that gets you all the bend you need. Ankle joints work the same way, giving you boot rotation. There's a hinge at the toe. Rotating back to neutral, you do hinge down, up, and rocks like the origin of the coronavirus. Go sit yourself.
Whether he's cruising around Gotham or chilling in the Batcave, Batman 89 can go sit himself. Answer of the week. Earlier I asked what popular recording artist wrote and produced the Batman 89 soundtrack. Answer: B. Prince.
Alright, first up, another Michael Keaton character. You want to get nuts? Well, let's get nuts. Here's Beetlejuice. Hello, McFly! Wondering what this little device is? Here's Michael J. Fox's most popular character, Marty McFly. And if you know how these movies were made, it's an inception of puppeteering. Here's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles' Michelangelo. 89 Bruce Wayne had a museum of samurai memorabilia. Imagine my surprise to find out Batman was a ninja. Here's Batman Begins, Batman. And you couldn't illegally extradite someone without a sticky bomb rifle. Here's Batman the Dark Knight, Unmasked Batman. And calling the Batmobile and peeling out. Here's McFarlane's Fortnite Peely. And while we're here, let's just compare some of the other vehicles I have in the collection to the Batmobile. Here's Mattel's WWE Wreckin' It Slam-Mobile, the Wreckin' It Slambulance, the Marvel Legends Ghost Rider motorcycle, the Basic Fun Scooby-Doo mystery van, and back to McFarlane, we've got the DC Multiverse Bat Raptor, and lastly, the Dark Knight Bat Pod that came with this Catwoman. Think unsexy thoughts. Think unsexy thoughts.
Coming over from Hasbro, McFarlane Toys comes off clunky, especially in the joints. Some of that is the look, and some of it is the stiff articulation. Marvel Legends is in the midst of doing away with pins, creating a noticeable difference in stability. Even Batman's knees look hyperextended in neutral position.
Really?
Not to make this a DC versus Marvel thing, but the standard thigh swivel on a Marvel Legends made me realize how spoiled I was as a Hasbro collector. Sure, I only collect DC movie figures at this scale, but I've yet to see a working thigh swivel in a neutral position. And we haven't even gotten into the diaper.
It's the short shorts, isn't it? I can get you longer shorts if that'll make a difference.
For most figures in this line, the overlay of the soft plastic crotch piece is unsightly. However, with characters like Superman 78 and Batman 89, the costume design hides the ugliness. The articulation at the wrist and ankles can be a little tricky sometimes, having to grip the joint like a vice so you can rotate it back to neutral position. It can be frustrating, but does have the ability to hinge in any direction you choose. I know this is a gold label release, but both the belt and the logo on the chest are supposed to be yellow, not gold. I didn't realize Todd was an Austin Powers villain.
I love gold!
Looking at a side by side, the Michael Keaton likeness is spot on. I know it's just eyes and a mouth showing behind the mask, but it's damn near perfect from every angle. Sure, Batman's cowl has a completely different silhouette than it does in the movie, but it's a toy, and I'll gladly give up the aesthetics for him being able to turn his head backing out of the driveway. Now, the Batmobile having a matte finish isn't accurate to the movie, but I've always wanted a matte car and the gold label was the closest to my budget. And while we're talking about accuracy, you may have noticed that there's only one seat inside the Batmobile. barely enough room for a single orphan. To get 2 figures to fit in the canopy, the car would have had to have been much bigger, and no longer in the budget.
To the Batmobile!
You mean your Chevy?
Yes.
Forcing Batman into a vehicle meant that DC Multiverse had to use a cloth cape. And while you're not going to get him into any intimidating dynamic poses, it does lay more naturally than the plastic capes most companies tend to use.
You have no eye for fashion!
I have no eye for that!
The biggest issue with this release is the lack of hands. Picking up the Batman '89 Deluxe release solves that issue with plenty of hands packed in.
And at the end of the day, you gotta be happy.
The Batman '89 Deluxe figure was clearly meant to be an apology figure and is meant to accompany the Batmobile 2-pack. Why else would it come with a remote and hands to grip the steering wheel? In combination, the Batman '89 Deluxe and Batmobile Gold label were almost perfect, equipped with all the toys and gadgets a man dressed like a bat could hope for. But the accessories for the Batmobile are light, and not just because there's no light-up flame feature coming from the back. Would I have preferred light-up features and accessories? Yes, but that would have increased the price and the wait time.
I put a deposit down. Where's my goddamn electric car, Bruce?
Luckily, Toxic Toy Depot sent me a plastic flame and a USB feature that slots inside. The cord is sold separately and can be found in the description on the product page. I did have to heat up the black plastic to get the cord to fit through, but the flame does attach securely in the exhaust of the Batmobile. So there you have it, a Batmobile that somehow fits in a box but barely fits on my shelf. An absolute centerpiece for any Batman '89 fan. And with the announcement of the Batman Returns wave, I'm looking forward to building out an entire display that has my house guests asking themselves,
Where does he get those wonderful toys?